Please stand.
Do sit down, everyone, please.
Thank you for joining us this evening for the Attestation of Specials Intake 4. I am Josh Pullen, one of the Special Inspectors, and in my role I look after all specials within local policing, and I'll be looking after proceedings tonight. We're not expecting any fire alarms or fire drills this evening, so if one does take place, please exit by the fire exit routes and the front of the room. Colleagues in uniform will help guide you out. To officially open the ceremony this evening, I'd like to invite Assistant Chief Constable John Roy to speak. Assistant Chief Constable John Roy.
Up there, Josh, if you don't mind. Right, thanks Josh for the introduction, and thank you everyone who's involved today in setting up this attestation ceremony, and thank you to all my colleagues who've come from all around the force to support us, to support the Special Constabulary and to support you as new colleagues joining them in local policing areas and the respective teams you're going to. Thank you also to Dave and most of all to Carmel for joining us, and we'll introduce Carmel later on. We are eternally grateful for your ongoing and enduring support, Carmel, and it's lovely to see you again here today in person. I don't do these very often, so what I get is someone else's speech. Go and deliver that, and I read it sometimes and I think, yeah, that's okay, but it's not very me, so bear with me. I might go a little bit off piste, although I'm very conscious that the camera is here, and I will mind my P's and Q's. I really like doing these ceremonies. I love attestations because I love new people joining the force, fresh ideas, fresh insights, and fresh faces to come and join us in doing what we do, which ultimately is trying to keep people safe from harm. And it sounds awfully simple, that, but when you get into it, and you'll have seen in your 20 weeks or so of training that you've already done, and you'll see from Friday onwards when you go live on the streets with your colleagues in the room and with other colleagues throughout the force, you'll see that that perhaps isn't as simple as perhaps you might think it is, or you might want it to be. I particularly like, careful because of the camera, Special Constabulary attestations, and I'll tell you why. This is slightly different from regular officer attestations in that, and this is where John is going to tell me it's changed for tonight, we get a couple of lines about you. Some of it's even true, I think. He doesn't always make all of it up. At worst, it's entertaining. At best, I get to see a little bit, and our colleagues and friends up here get to see a little bit of the person inside the uniform. And that's hugely important. Because when you're out on the streets policing, when you're out on the streets trying to keep communities safe, it's not the uniform that does the hard work. It's not the uniform that interacts with people, that engages with people, that gets them to trust you. It's not the uniform or the baton or the warrant card or the powers that gets a difficult situation resolved. It's the person inside the uniform, and that's you. If that's come as a shock to anyone, that the uniform doesn't magically resolve difficult situations or get people to do what you want them to do, as of Friday onwards, you'll see exactly what I mean. We commend you for wanting to contribute to the communities that you come from, the communities that you live in, and to support your friends, loved ones and families throughout Merseyside. You join us at a time of change, where workload is ever increasing, and we're coming towards the end, hopefully, of a year, again hopefully, like no other. Since February of 2020, when the first passengers and holiday makers were repatriated to Arrow Park Hospital from China and beyond, Merseyside has been at the very forefront of policing coronavirus. We have been in higher tiers of lockdown for longer than anywhere else in the country. And I would argue that with our unique policing challenge has given us probably the biggest coronavirus challenge of anywhere. Won't surprise many people in the room to know that we've done incredibly well in it. We've continued to make huge numbers of arrests, we've continued to drive down crime, we've seized huge numbers of drugs, criminal cash, criminal assets, and taken loads of knives and firearms from the streets. But that just scratches the surface. We come out of coronavirus at a time when we've been expected to act as almost agents of social control, telling people that they can't mix with more than 2 other people in a park or in their friend's house, that loved ones can't be together at birthdays and anniversaries and Christmas time. And that has been a huge challenge for the officers and staff on the front line of this organisation. And as we come out of coronavirus and restrictions ease, we start to see some of the dividends of that. We start to see some of our colleagues in the nighttime economy having a little bit of a harder time to build our legitimacy, to get people to do what we need them to do to keep them safe. So you join us at a time of huge operational change as well as the ongoing organisational change. Your training, your colleagues, you, the person inside the uniform, is what will get over that. It's what will build trust, it's what will keep people safe, and that's why you're here today, and I'm hugely grateful that you volunteered to do that, and it isn't lost on me or anyone else that you are volunteers. And you've been led and trained and welcomed to the organisation by a number of other volunteers, many of whom are here today with us. Dave, as a Special Chief Officer, Steve, who's been heavily involved in your training and has the scars, or at least bruises, and sore shins in Dave's case. I think you reenacted the Hyde Park issue that the Met faced yesterday in your training, I understand. So,
I'll get me on that.
yeah, I'm sure you will. And then, Don's here as well. Don Elliott, where are you, Don? My eyesight's there, he's at the back there. My eyesight's not good enough to see, make out everyone at the back. He's been with us for the best part of 40 years, serving as a special. Laura, as well, with us as our Special Chief Inspector, newly promoted Special Chief Inspector, who, again, huge role model, along with Steve, for all of you, and indeed for many of us in the room. Last year, our Special Constables gave us nearly 60,000 hours of their time, and that's over almost 7,500 different duties. You can do the maths and divide it by 40 and work out how many regular full-time constable weeks that equates to, but it's huge and it's significant. Our specials, who form part of our special constabulary, come from a wide variety of backgrounds, many diverse skills, some of which they're able to utilise when deployed operationally. And only recently we've had trainee doctors who've attended incidents and saved lives. The most recent being a trainee doctor who attended a domestic abuse incident as a special, where a family member had been stabbed more than 50 times and they performed life-saving first aid. You couple to that all the work that I described before about guns, drugs, knives, cash, organised criminality, every single facet of that our regular colleagues deliver, our special colleagues deliver too. We've got something we call One Team in Merseyside, and that's very much everyone working together to achieve common goals, focusing on our shared priorities. You'll make your own special contributions to that one team way of working. Sometimes we stand up here and we talk about things and you think, yeah, it's just a word or it's just a phrase. When it comes to one team, it's absolutely something that runs through this organisation and we mean it. You are joining that one team, you are joining our team, and you're joining it as a volunteer but as an equal part of it. I expect from you, and the public expect from you, exactly the same as they do from a regular officer. There are very few members of the public who will understand what the extra flash on your epaulets means. They see you as a police officer, they will treat you as a police officer, and that's the expectation that they have on you, and that's the expectation that I have on you, and that the organisation has of you. In 1994, when I joined, the great thing about these is, it's not the case for you. Usually there's some people who are actually alive in 1994 in special attestations. Not the case in regulars, but in 1994 when I joined, anyway, back in the mists of time, we didn't treat the special staff very well. They weren't part of the team. They weren't, and Steve, you can attest to this. They were separate. They were different. Things have changed massively now. You are very much part of our collective team, and the one team ethos absolutely means something. Stand by it. It'll do you well as you continue your career. So for me, I want to personally thank each of you who are here tonight, to offering your services, to volunteering, and to be willing to make a difference in the community. I look forward over years to come in sharing in your successes and hearing of your triumphs and the good work that you will do, and we do hear of it on a regular basis. So from me, welcome to Merseyside Police. You will be shortly be attested. You will gain the powers of the office of constable, and they are very, very significant powers. But with significant powers comes even more significant responsibilities. As you move forward in your careers, please bear in mind that your responsibilities will always outweigh your powers, and that it's the person inside the uniform that makes the difference, not the powers or the accompaniments or the uniforms themselves. Congratulations on your 20 weeks. Congratulations to have made it this far. Congratulations on joining us in the best police force in the country and becoming part of our one team. Welcome, one and all. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Can the recruits please stand ready to take their oath? Please repeat after me. I do solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm
I do solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm
that I will well and truly serve the Queen
that I will well and truly serve the Queen
in the office of Constable,
in the office of Constable,
with fairness, integrity, diligence and impartiality,
with fairness, integrity, diligence and impartiality,
upholding fundamental human rights,
upholding fundamental human rights,
and according equal respect to all people,
and according equal respect to all people,
and that I will, to the best of my power,
and that I will, to the best of my power,
cause the peace to be kept and preserved,
cause the peace to be kept and preserved,
and prevent all offences against people and property,
and prevent all offences against people and property,
and that while I continue to hold the said office,
and that while I continue to hold said office,
I will, to the best of my skill and knowledge,
I will, to the best of my skill and knowledge,
discharge all the duties thereof,
discharge all the duties thereof,
faithfully according to law.
faithfully according to law.
Please be seated. I'll now invite the recruits, one at a time, to make their formal declarations. David Beard. David is a manager for a betting company in his full-time employment. When not working, he enjoys ice skating and playing football. David joins the Special Constabulary because he loves communicating and meeting new people. Since joining the police, he has noticed that most people have a nickname, and one that has stuck for him is Mr. Bean, which apparently he finds quite amusing. The rest of the intake. David is posted to St Helens Community, 2303 David Beard.
This is my signature and declaration, Mum.
Almost got the really difficult task of being up and down like a area. Really quite easy.
Thank you.
Don't listen to the nicknames either. I get called all sorts. Say nothing.
Adam Bennett. Adam is a part-time actor in his day job. His hobbies are music in the form of playing guitar, gaming and working out. Adam joins the Special Constabulary because he thinks he would be an incredible opportunity, plus the fact that his parents don't like looking at him for too long, so he has to get out of the house. Adam is posted to Crosby R&R, 0507 Adam Bennett.
This is my signature and declaration.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you.
Hayley Corliff. Hayley currently works for a plastics company based in Wrexham as a supply and demand analyst. In her spare time, she enjoys going on long walks with her two pugs, Eric and Alfie. Before COVID-19, she used to enjoy bouldering and rock climbing too, and hopefully she can get back to it soon. Hayley states she was terrified about joining the police and having to admit on her vetting forms to bunking the train when she was 13 and getting a telling off from a Merseyside police officer. Hayley is posted to Wallasey R&R 2344 Hayley Corbin.
That's my signature report.
Thank you. Do you realise bunking a train is imprisonment?
Thank you.
Ben Davidson. Ben is currently a student and part-time barman. He enjoys water sports and volunteering for youth and first aid organisations. Ben would like to go into either counter-terrorism or anti-corruption as a regular police officer eventually. Adam joins the Special Constabulary to give back to the community and get some police experience whilst he's at university. 2311 Ben Davidson is posted to Crosby R&R.
Thank you.
Charlotte Flavel. Charlotte is a trainee mortgage advisor currently taking her financial exams. In her spare time, she loves to be outdoors, walking and keeping fit. Charlotte wanted to be in the special to see how real the programme The Bill was. She apparently enjoyed watching it every day of her childhood. Charlotte says the role is definitely going to be an eye-opener, but she's sure she will enjoy it as she loves helping people. Charlotte is posted to Heighton Targeted, 2343 Charlotte Flavel.
Thank you.
Avril Green. Avril is currently a student and works part-time in a chippy. Avril states she suffers from an addiction to Mackies and shopping. Avril joins the specials as she has always wanted to be part of the police and she loves helping people. Avril would love to become a regular officer further down the line and pursue a career in policing. Avril is posted to Marsh Lane Targeted, 2383 Avril Green.
Thank you.
Alex Gregor. Alex is 26 from Crosby and currently a scheduler for Integral. Alex was in the RAF Reserves during university where he was somehow trusted to fly a plane for a fortnight. He enjoys playing golf and holds the record for worst player in England. And Alex is posted to Crosby R&R, 2389 Alex Gregor.
This is my signature and declaration.
Thank you.
Joash Knight. Joash is a teacher of physics and mathematics. He's a windsurfer and former lifeguard, which was part of his motivation for joining the Special Constabulary. He feels a great sense of pride being in uniform and in a position where he can help people when they need it most. He thought that he could not be a teacher as well as a police officer, but realised he could combine the two by joining the Special Constabulary. Joash is posted to Wallasey Community, 2333 Joash Knight.
This is my signature and declaration.
My husband was a teacher and a specialist.
Thank you.
Harry Lang. Harry is currently in his first year at university after leaving college. His hobbies include boxing, which he's not done for a while since he got battered, as well as the more sedate hobby of cycling. Harry states he joins the Special Constabulary to give back to his community and has wanted to be in the police since he was 6 years old. Harry hopes this is the start of a long and happy career. Harry is posted to Highton Community, 2286 Harry Lang.
This is my signature and declaration mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Andreas Luizos. Andreas works as an implementation manager for a business travel agency. Originally from Greece, he has been living in Liverpool for 8 years. He is married and has a 4-year-old son who, since he found out his dad is going to be a special constable, every time they go for a walk, thinks that everyone they see on the street is acting sus. Andreas joins the special constables to make a difference in his community and help as much as he can to create a better community for his son to grow up into. His hobbies are playing football and gardening. Andreas is posted to Bebington Community, 2335 Andreas Luizos.
Thank you.
Callum McIntosh. Callum lists his hobbies as tennis and being an avid golf player. Callum works with people bringing businesses together in a mediation capacity. Since joining, he has witnessed the commitments of all to do the best they can. Callum joins the Special Constabulary to work alongside his colleagues and ensure that the people of Merseyside are kept safe. Callum is posted to Wallasey Community, 2338 Callum McIntosh.
This is my signature and declaration mark.
Thank you.
Sarah McAvoy. Sarah's a manager in an accountancy firm in her day job. Her hobbies have changed a bit over the last year, and now she really enjoys baking lots of new things and forcing them upon her family and friends. She aspires to stay with the Special Constabulary for as long as possible, and she joined because she wanted to do something she felt passionate about, and what better way than serving the city she lives in. Sarah is posted to Crosby R&R, 2520 Sarah McAvoy.
Signature and declaration marks.
Thank you.
Will Newton. Will currently works at Waitrose. He joins the Special Constabulary to get an insight into policing and offer his skills to the role. He hopes to pursue a career in the police as a regular constable. Will's hobbies include walking and mountain climbing. Will is posted to Crosby R&R, 2315 Will Newton.
It's my signature and declaration mark.
Thank you.
Connor Renshaw. In his day job, Connor deals with the prevention and risk mitigation of financial crime, sanctions evasions and terrorist financing. Connor enjoys mountain biking as his main hobby, and he believes he can make a difference in our communities. Connor once met Vern Troyer, or Mini-Me, on a night out in Chester. Apparently Connor and his mates stayed out with him and had an amazing time. Connor can't remember a single thing from that night out, and apparently there's photos, although even they help his recollection. Connor is posted to Marsh Lane Targeted, 2347 Connor Renshaw. Thomas Rigby. Thomas is a painter and decorator in his full-time employment. His hobbies include gardening and fitness training. Thomas joins the Special Constabulary as he wants to challenge himself more in his career. Thomas wants to use the Special Constabulary as a stepping stone to the regular constabulary. Thomas has said he is not safe on a work site. He wants to use a toilet that was not connected to the mains, sending more than a message to his colleagues one floor below. Thomas is posted to Marshall Lane Community, 2362 Thomas Rigby.
More Marsh Lane.
Thank you.
Claire Scanlon. Claire, or Bethany as she is known to the team, is a hairdresser owning her own salon on the Wirral with a friend. Claire is a twin and a keen golfer and once had to play against her twin in the final of a knockout competition. Claire joins the Special Constabulary to be able to experience something else she's always wanted to do alongside hairdressing. Claire says she has enjoyed the training that much it has resulted in her applying for the regulars and starting a new career. Claire's excited to be part of the Special Constabulary till then. Claire's posted to Wallasey R&R, 2370 Claire Scanlon.
Something lost to you too.
No, is that?
Just without being mentioned.
Thank you.
Adam Sloan. Adam works for the Safer Roads Unit of Merseyside Police. He applied to join the Special Constabulary because he says he is eager to try something different and serve his community. In his spare time, he enjoys keeping fit by running and walking his dog, Sam, who is a Yorkshire Terrier crossed with a Shih Tzu. Adam is posted to Crosby R&R, 2488 Adam Sloan.
Thank you.
Natasha Stanbury. Natasha describes herself as a very passionate chef and traveller. Chefing has been a huge part of her life for the past 16 years, and she has been fortunate to travel a fair distance while sharing her culinary creative flair. Natasha says she has always taken a keen interest in joining the police. The Special Constable role at Merseyside was extremely appealing for her to work within the incredible force, meeting people from all walks of life and facing new challenges. Natasha says she has been welcomed by some of the most incredible and talented colleagues only at the starting point and is looking forward to a new and exciting future within Merseyside Police. Natasha is posted to Crosby R&R, 2280 Natasha Stanbury.
Thank you.
Holly Walker. Holly works for the pretzel company Ann's in her day job. In her spare time, she enjoys seeing family and friends and going to the theatre. Holly joins the Special Constabulary to gain a variety of new skills, confidence, and to make a difference in her community. During her police career, Holly would like to become a regular officer and excel in the role. Holly states she wants to help people in difficult situations and inspire the people around her. Holly is posted to Marshall Lane Community, 2308 Holly Walker.
Thank you.
Warren Ward. Warren is an Executive Director at the Wirral Chamber of Commerce, representing our region nationally and leadership at the University of Chester, working full-time and even moving house. Apparently he's all or nothing. He joined the Special Constabulary to achieve a lifelong dream of becoming a police officer. He plans to be a career special, describing it as the best of both worlds, having two dream careers. Warren is posted to Marsh Lane Community, 2318 Warren Ward.
Thank you.
Amelia Young. Amelia is currently a student and works part-time at Home and Bargain. Amelia enjoys travelling and experiencing new cultures. After completing her professional policing degree, Amelia aims to work full-time for Merseyside Police as a regular. Amelia joins Merseyside Police Special Constabulary. She is proud to be from Liverpool and would love to give back and make the community she grew up in safer. Amelia is posted to Highton Community, 2373 Amelia Young.
Would you like to see a picture of the declaration or?
Thank you.
Will the new officers please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our new officers. Please be seated. I would like to invite our Justice of the Peace, Carmel Stewart, to speak. Carmel was born in Liverpool and was educated in a local grammar school before going on to obtain her first degree and later her master's degree from two of the city's universities. In her professional life, she was a deputy head teacher and now works for a regional local authority. Carmel was appointed as a Justice of the Peace in September 1999 and sits on both adult and youth courts. She was Deputy Bench Chairman of Liverpool and Knowsley Bench and is following the formation of a single bench in Merseyside in April 2017, is now one of 4 deputies on the Merseyside Magistrates Bench. She is based at the Queen Elizabeth II Courthouse and alongside another deputy has pastoral responsibility for those magistrates who sit in the Liverpool courts. Carmel has served on a number of committees including the Bench Committee, the Probation Liaison Committee and sits on the newly created Regional Leadership Group as the nominated deputy for Merseyside. She is also the Magistrates Associate Representative on the Out-of-Court Disposal Scrutiny Panel and for over 10 years has heard out-of-hours warrants applications for Merseyside Police, the UK Borders Agency and mental health practitioners. As a member of the Magistrates Association, Carmel is actively involved in the work of the Merseyside branch and currently serves on the local executive committee. In this capacity, she has been involved in organising training events around serious organised crime, knife crime, cybercrime and mental health and the criminal justice system. For the past 3 years, Carmel has delivered a presentation on the magistracy to Merseyside Police cadets and recently accompanied a group of cadets on visits to observe the work of the Magistrates Court. Justice of the Peace, Carmel Stewart.
Thank you. I really must update that CV. I am now bench chairman. One of my deputies is here as well. Thank you. Assistant Chief Constable Roy, Chief Officer Lyons, Special Inspector Pullen, officers and Special Constables. Thank you for your very kind introduction. And can I say how delighted we both are to have been invited to attend the attestation ceremony on behalf of Merseyside Magistrates Bench. Both the Special Constabulary and the lay magistracy predate the formation of their professional counterparts, and the concepts of local policing and local justice were fundamental to the development of these separate but quite distinct institutions. Today, the roles of Special Constable and Magistrate continue to be carried out by people like you and I, who are drawn from the local community in which we live. However, the similarities do not end there. One of the key common factors between the magistracy and the Special Constabulary is their enduring shared commitment to voluntary public service. As a Special Constable, you'll be one of thousands of specials serving in UK police forces, working on the front line alongside your regular colleagues. Having served as a magistrate for nearly 22 years, I recognise that voluntary public service brings with it many challenges, not least those of juggling career and family commitments. Being a special constable requires dedication, commitment, and often sacrifice. However, it also brings with it great personal satisfaction and fulfilment. As my own brother was a special constable on Merseyside, I can certainly attest to that. The criminal justice system as a whole has a long history of volunteering, with volunteers often being involved in various roles, from arrest through to post-sentence of offenders. The majority of the people who you arrest and charge will appear before magistrates, who are also volunteers and who deal with 90% of all criminal cases, as well as civil matters and family matters. Some of the victims and witnesses with whom you come into contact may subsequently be supported through the court process by one of the 6,000 volunteers who make up the Victim Support Service. Offenders who go on to be remanded in custody or given custodial sentences will be offered support during their time in prison by volunteer members of the Independent Monitoring Board. Following their release from prison, many offenders will go on to receive rehabilitation, resettlement and mentoring support from local voluntary organisations. Frequently, and unfortunately, the term volunteer is often preceded by the word only, implying that what volunteers do carries less weight and less importance than the work done by people who are paid to do the same role. Nothing could be further from the truth. Volunteers and voluntary organisations make a valuable contribution to our society, and their importance should not be underestimated. Notwithstanding the many charities who rely on volunteers, many of our public services, such as the police and the courts, benefit from the efforts of our fellow citizens who give freely of that most precious commodity, their time, for no reward other than the knowledge that they are serving their community. Without volunteers, there would be no Royal National Lifeboat Institution, no Mountain Rescue Services, no St John's Ambulance Service, organisations which have saved countless lives in this country, and their valiant work is by no way diminished by the fact that they are all volunteers. Indeed, thousands of volunteers are currently supporting the national rollout of the COVID vaccination programme, and their efforts will undoubtedly prevent many people from contracting and even dying from this horrendous virus. Although volunteers are special constables, what sets you apart from the many other voluntary organisations is the oath which you take. Like you, magistrates and judges are required to take an oath, the judicial oath, in which we promise to do right to all manner of people, after the law and usages of this realm, without fear or favour, affection or ill will. The judicial oath imposes a standard of impartiality and underpins everything we do as magistrates. As special constables, you swear to exercise the role of constable with fairness, integrity, diligence and impartiality. In so doing, you'll be upholding the values of generations of British police officers. The actions of officers throughout our towns and cities remind us of the unique qualities of the British police and of the threats which they face on a daily basis in order to keep us safe. The qualities demonstrated by officers who selflessly run towards danger while others are trying to escape it. By officers who exercise their discretion with common sense and compassion, and who as members of our police service represent an institution which is politically independent and which most importantly protects our democracy. For the vast majority of the British public, our police officers represent safety, security, reliability and trust. Compare that to many countries in the world where people live in fear of the police and where the police are seen as oppressors rather than a force for good. When Sir Robert Peel, the founder of the Metropolitan Police, proclaimed the police of the public and the public of the police, he recognised the importance of public cooperation and goodwill, and the notion of policing by consent, which to this day still holds true. As you embark upon your police career, remember that you are now the custodian of these values. In bringing my speech to a close, I am reminded of the wise words of Lord Mansfield when he said, "A speech is like a love affair. Any fool can start it, but to end it requires considerable skill. Whilst it is a skill that I have not yet mastered, I am mindful that many of you have an appointment with AC12. I know I have. Anyone know who H is, by the way? So on behalf of Merseyside Magistrates Bench, I'd like to thank you all for joining the Special Constabulary and for undertaking this commendable role. And I wish you all a long and successful career as a Special Constable, and may you continue to uphold the values and the fine tradition of this historic and valuable service. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Finally, to close this evening's ceremony, I would like to invite Chief Officer David Lyons to speak.
Trying to get out of that light. I apologise for going from my laptop. Unfortunately, my shin and my ankle are far too sore to drive into HQ today in order to print it out because the printer at home has failed me. So, firstly, I apologise. But on the good side, normally we have a family at these ceremonies, but obviously due to the current restrictions, we're not able to. And Barry always asked me to be succinct and precise because normally we have like some coffee and some cakes afterwards. But he said tonight I can go on as long as I want. So for those of you who remember Ken Dodd, which is probably none of you, we might be here for some time. Firstly, can I thank Ms Stewart and ACC Roy for their words and their continued support of the Special Constabulary. And then on your behalf, I'd like to thank Sergeant Bates and Inspector Johnson for their support they've given you over the last 6 months. I'm sure you agree they've always been available to you whenever you've needed them. We know it's not always easy, and we know sometimes things go wrong, but they do a sterling job in trying their best to resolve those issues for you. Of course, we need to thank the training staff at the Academy for guiding you through their training. Hopefully you haven't given them too many tough questions they couldn't answer. And of course, there's the CEU team who support in getting this evening sorted. By Sergeant Pohl, who am I missing? Oh, Inspector Meredith and Constable Hislop, who's not here tonight. They've organised this excellently, and it is different, and it's a little bit difficult, but hopefully it's been good enough for you. I really did want to try and get it live event streamed by Teams, but unfortunately that failed us as well. We're still in the rollout of Teams, so I do apologise for that. And of course, can I thank Inspector Pullen for MCing tonight. Excellent job, thank you very much, Josh. Now I've got to figure out how to move pages on this. I know it's been a long day. I think you started at 8:30, was it? 8. So I won't actually carry on like Ken Dodd. I'll get through this as soon as I can. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Merseyside Special Constabulary and to congratulate you on your appointments as Special Constables and Police Officers. I know we've put you through the mill the last 6 months. You've had numerous vetting, applications, interviews, mentally and physically tested. I think you got a bit of your own back yesterday, if I'm honest. The mandibular angle, I think it's called, is quite sore. I think, I'm not sure who that one, I think it was Andreas, is it? Just one thing, if ever you're doing role plays, you may remember there was a bit of a bat to the back of body arm, but it was nice and light. Whoever it was, and I know it was one of the girls, but I've not managed to figure out who it was who actually hit me with their baton on the shin. Please don't do that to your colleagues when you're doing PST next year, unless you really don't like them. It's great that you've joined an organisation like no other. Your appointment card, your appointment and your warrant card, as you know, brings certain powers. But I'm asking you to use them with some skill, courage, fortitude, and most of all, use them with discretion. You do have discretion, and use it wherever possible. Don't immediately think you have to lock everybody up. Even in the role plays yesterday, there was quite a lot of locking up. Poor old Inspector Johnson got hauled out of the house, and he hadn't done anything. He was reporting a crime, and he's getting hauled out of the house. Just be conscious of the discretion you can use. But I think more importantly than those things, please be human. Try to police with compassion, with understanding, and with empathy. At the moment, you've seen it today, you'll have seen it yesterday, policing is challenged constantly through the court of social media and public opinion. It's the human traits that exist in all of us that will see you through. Please listen attentively, think carefully, talk with authority and lead decisively. For those of you who are a bit more astute than others, you'll notice there are the 4 just principles that we have within the organisation: to just listen, just think, just talk, and just lead. Merseyside Police, as Mr Roy has mentioned, we're committed to individual empowerment, and we allow every officer and member of civilian staff to make decisions that they think are the right ones at the time on the ground. And so long as that decision's been made in the best interest of the community and the victims, then even if it turns out to be the wrong decision, so long as it's got a legal basis, then we'll back you to the hilt. You will always have the support of the organisation. But there is a small word of warning that comes along with this. The oath you've sworn to undertake this evening is a professional one. It is voluntary, but we do expect you to stick to your side of the bargain, to turn up when you say you will, to turn up properly dressed and ready to go. I know you've sacrificed some of your leisure time. Some of you who don't seem to have any leisure time, so I don't know how on earth you managed to sacrifice it. But you've chosen to sacrifice that leisure time to help us achieve our goals. There'll be times, as lockdown particularly ends, when you'll be thinking, great, I can go and have a barbecue with the family because I haven't had one for 12 months. But if you said you're going to come and support us, then please do, wherever possible, try not to let us down. I understand sometimes that family events get in the way and things come up that just can't be helped. But please let us know if that's the case. And if for some reason you're unable to join us or you're unable to come along for something, just let us know and we'll understand. I think you've chosen this path because you believe in the cause. And I mean, we heard from some of you who want to make that difference to the communities in which you grew up in. And we don't volunteer for these duties because they're easy. We volunteer precisely because they're not easy. And it does require you to develop a very special mindset, which you've started to develop, but you'll further hone once you get out onto the streets. You all seem to have some unique skills and experiences, and backgrounds, of course, and that will bring and make the organisation a much richer one. I do rely on your commitments and your flexibility and your willingness to give up your time in all weathers, in the dark. It's lovely and sunny at the moment, but rest assured it's not always like that when we're out and about. It might be 4 o'clock on a winter's morning that unfortunately you're stuck on a scene. We've all done it, so please don't think that it's just because we're specials that we're being asked to go on that scene. We will hold you to account if you don't stick to your side of the bargain. We will call you in and we'll ask you what's wrong, why is it that you're not performing as you're expected to. But equally, I want you to hold us to account. If you think we're not keeping to our side of the bargain, if you feel you're not being properly developed or you don't feel meaningfully utilised, then please get in touch with us and let us know. Now's the time for you to go and have an adventure. It is an adventure, it's real, it can be really fun. It can also be quite harrowing at times. So go out onto the streets and police with courage and pride. The same courage and pride that took you to apply to join us in the first place. I can't guarantee that things will always go right. Quite often they do go wrong. But I can guarantee that if you engage, give it your all, you'll have fun, you'll develop new skills, and you'll grow in ways that you never thought you would. So all that's left is for me to wish you all the very best for your careers within Merseyside Police. I look forward to seeing you out on the streets. I'm not sure whether we're going to be there next Friday, if anyone's doing the operation on Friday, because we've got what are they called? An assessment centre on the Saturday morning over at Lee Green. But one last thing from me, please remember, when a member of the public picks up the phone and they do dial 999, they won't know it's you who only attested on Sunday turning up. They'll see a fully fledged police officer and they'll expect greatness. If you participate actively and you act and you don't stand back, then you will deliver the standards that are expected of Merseyside Police and the standards that your nearest and dearest will be proud of. So you'll be pleased to know that's it from me, and I will hand back to Mr. Pullen to close the ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this evening's proceedings. We will be upstanding for Chief Officers. Please be seated. Thank you.